on the right.
A very good evening. Welcome to Premier League Live this Tuesday evening, in what is the final game that we will be covering before the final day of the season. Bournemouth side taking on Manchester City at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth's final game at home this season, and their final home game under Andoni Iraola, who we already know will leave the club this summer, and we'll talk about more managerial departures in a moment. But to some breaking news that came in the last hour involving who could be in the Premier League next season. Well, we know Southampton certainly will not be, because after the whole Spygate situation, there was an independent panel that was accumulated to see whether Southampton were guilty of breaching EFL rules, of spying on their opponent's training within 72 hours of a game against them, and they have been found guilty, and they have been expelled from the Championship playoffs. So, Southampton have admitted to multiple counts of spying on opponents, including against Middlesbrough in the playoffs and 2 other occasions across the season. And that means that Middlesbrough are now reinstated into the Championship playoffs and will face Hull in the playoff final on Saturday. On top of that, Southampton have been given a 4-point deduction for next season. They will start the next Championship season with -4 points. And they will appeal the decision, though, Southampton. And according to the EFL, that is expected to be heard tomorrow. But if really you expect Southampton have admitted to those accounts, you wouldn't really expect there to be an overturning of the decision. Maybe a slight less of a punishment, maybe on the points deduction, for example, but you do feel that that will stand. So Southampton are out of the playoffs after being expelled for spying on an opponent in the build-up to a game, and therefore that has been altered. So it will be Hull against Middlesbrough in the Championship playoff final this Saturday. But to more big news, and that is that Pep Guardiola could be leaving Manchester City. Well, according to reports that came out last night while we were live watching the Arsenal-Burnley game, Pep Guardiola is expected to leave Man City after Sunday's season finale against Aston Villa at the Etihad. Of course, he joined Man City in July of 2016 and has won 6 Premier League titles, a Champions League trophy, 3 FA Cups and 5 Carabao Cups, of course winning the FA Cup at the weekend, making it a cup double, domestic cup double this season. Enzo Maresca, the former Chelsea manager, is expected to take over as City boss, with talks apparently, according to reports, at an advanced stage. So we will wait and see. But what a legacy Pep Guardiola will have left on English football, on football as a whole, but of course at Manchester City, if he was to leave and if those reports were to be true. And it has come out of nowhere, so it's been a busy day, a busy last 24 hours in terms of big news stories. But back to the action tonight. 2 games that conclude matchday 37. Bournemouth taking on Manchester City at the Vitality Stadium, and Chelsea hosting Spurs at 8:15 at Stamford Bridge. This is what's on the line tonight. The title race could be concluded tonight. If Man City fail to beat Bournemouth, then Arsenal will be champions this evening after their 1-0 win, that should read, against Burnley last night as we watched. Kai Havertz with the winner. It means Arsenal are 5 clear, and City have to win their final 2 games, and Arsenal have to at least fail to beat Palace on Sunday to give City a chance. Bournemouth must lose to City tonight. A team on a 16-game unbeaten run in the league. Bournemouth City have to beat them to stay in the title race. That is for sure. When it comes to the relegation battle, that's also in action with Spurs playing this evening. Spurs win or draw against Chelsea tonight, and West Ham are effectively relegated to the Championship. A win for Spurs would mathematically relegate West Ham. A draw would have them 3 points ahead, but they're technically relegated because of a 13 worse off goal difference than Spurs would West Ham, and it would be certainly a massive gap that is surely insurmountable going into the final game of the season, but that's the way it looks. Spurs get anything out of tonight's game, they will be safe, and West Ham will be down. West Ham have to hope that Spurs lose their final 2 games and they beat Leeds on Sunday to have a chance at staying in the division, and that is what is on the line on that case. Spurs get even a point out of their final 2 games. It is surely curtains for West Ham United. But it is all focused first and foremost at the Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth Man City. It's a 7:30 kickoff here at the Vitality. An 8:15 kickoff between Chelsea and Spurs, and we'll bring you right up to date with that one as soon as we can. We will get the team news from the Vitality next. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Let's have a look at the 2 teams for tonight's game. Bournemouth start with Jordi Petrovic in goal. A back 4 of Smith, Hills, Senesi and Truffert. Tyler Adams and Alex Scott are the defensive midfield 2, with Eli Jr. Krupe in the 10. Tavernier and Rayan are the wingers, with Evan Nielsen leading the Bournemouth line. On the bench for Antonio Iraola's side, Mandas, Diakite, Cook, Brooks, Gannon Doak, Kluivert, Toth, Adley and Unal. Well, for Manchester City, it is win or you're done and dusted, really, when it comes to the title race. Gianluigi Donnarumma starts in goal. A back 4 of Mateus Nunes, Abdulkadir Kushanov, Mark Guehi and Nico O'Reilly. Rodri is alongside Bernardo Silva in midfield, with Mateo Kovacic further forward. Semenyo on the right, Doku on the left, and Erling Haaland leading the City front line. On the bench, Trafford, Diaz, Stones, Gvardiol, Reinders, Cherky, Savinho, Foden and Marmoush. So it is a strong City side taking on an unbeatable Bournemouth side, it seems. 16-game unbeaten run in the Premier League. That is one hell of a tough task. If City want to break that, they need to break that record for Bournemouth if they're to stay in the title race. It is a huge night on the south coast, and in the capital as well, as the London derby takes place in 45 minutes' time at Stamford Bridge. We'll tell you more about that as the night goes on. But it is Bournemouth, Manchester City, and this is the deciding night it could very well be for the Premier League title race. Kick-off is next. A very good evening. Thank you very much for joining us for this one. This Tuesday evening as we conclude match day 37, the penultimate weekend of the Premier League season. And we have just 2 games to bring you tonight. One, of course, here in LFS, our commentary of Bournemouth against City. And then, of course, Chelsea against Spurs at 8:15. And what a massive game that is when it comes to the title race, or the relegation battle, shall I say. Which is quite bizarre that 10 years ago, Spurs went to Stamford Bridge to try and win a title. 10 years later, they're going to Stamford Bridge to try and stay in the Premier League. What a contrast that is. But 10 years ago, Pep Guardiola wasn't the manager at Manchester City. Since then, he's won 20 major honours at the football club in 10 years. That is an incredible record. And will it all come to an end in just 5 days' time after they face Aston Villa? We get underway at the Vitality Stadium as Bournemouth take on City, and a night that could be deciding when it comes to the title race. A City side who I'm sure would have celebrated long into the night on Saturday after their FA Cup victory against Chelsea at Wembley. Antoine Semenyo's audacious goal, delivering a 3rd FA Cup under Pep Guardiola and an 8th for City in their history. And now, can Pep Guardiola buy out with lucky number 7 in terms of Premier League titles? I mean, that would be an insane record. 7 titles in 10 years. It would be insane. Insane. There's a ball in behind already for Bournemouth. Evan Nielsen just run away from him. And it's cleared down the line there by O'Reilly, but early threat from Bournemouth in behind right from the off. Andy says, is Pep going? Hi man and all. Thank you very much for joining us again, Andy. Bournemouth into the box here. Evan Nielsen looking to play it off, but that didn't quite find a man. It's one back though. Tavernier trying to find Krupi and shoveled away by Donnarumma. Well, early Bournemouth pressure and City on the back foot massively here all of a sudden. An electric start from this Bournemouth team. I haven't watched Bournemouth in a few weeks, but certainly when you do get the joy, the privilege to watch them, they play some beautiful stuff. Krupi lays it out wide. Truffert finds Tavernier. And when Andoni Iraola goes, he will be a hot property at whatever club wants him. There'll be quite a few knocking on the door of Andoni Iraola after the job he's been able to achieve at Bournemouth over the last number of seasons, and could buy out by securing European football for the first time in the club's history. And a win tonight would secure that beyond any doubt. Any points tonight will go a long way in all but securing that. But certainly 3 points would be humongous. 3 points tonight for Bournemouth would see them just a point off Liverpool going into the final day. Here comes City. Rodri's ball didn't quite find Haaland. Nicely won back by Kovacic though, as he carries it forward down the left hand side. Tracked by Alex Scott. In the end, backwards. It goes as Abdulkadir Kushanov. Kovacic out wide to O'Reilly. Nice 1-2 with O'Reilly and Kovacic as O'Reilly's cross. Cleared away by Tyler Adams and out for a City throw on the far left side. And he says Krupi this season has been brilliant and played in more than one position and has done well. Another player who will be very interesting to see what happens to him over the summer. Lots of players, certainly. Nunes. Rodri. Bernardo Silva. Down the line to Semenyo. Semenyo round the outside against his former club. Remember, cuts it back. Drops for Doku, rolls it onto his left. And the shot right down the throat of the Bournemouth goalkeeper in Jordi Petrovic. Really beautiful play by Semenyo. Bursting past Truffert as he cuts it back. It's escaped Matej Nunes and it rolls into the path of Doku on the edge of the box. Straight strike right at Jordi Petrovic. City pushing Rodri. Semenyo. Back to Matej Nunes. Back now to Kushanov and across to Mark Guehi. Well, after that little bit of a tricky first minute or two from City, started to garner a bit of control of the ball and maybe pose a bit of a threat of their own against Bournemouth here. The Bournemouth team who I've already told you about their incredible unbeaten record. The last time they lost a league game was at home to Arsenal back on the 3rd of January. They lost 3-2. That was their last time they had lost a league game. And that was on a win at the end of an 11-game winless run, which started with a defeat to Manchester City back in November. Went winless between November and December, Bournemouth, but have been unbeaten since the 3rd of January, which is an incredible record. Absolutely incredible. I mean, it's Man City type numbers when you talk about the top City teams. albeit quite a few draws in there, but doesn't matter. You're unbeaten. A reminder for you, as it stands, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but as it stands, Arsenal technically would be champions right now if the game ended as it is. Groupie down the left-hand side. That one's seen out of play. And True Fair there, winning the throw-in out of Abdulkadir Kushanov. And the question marks as well. I mean, we're not really doubting the fact that City couldn't be ready for this one, but a 3-day turnaround from a massive cup final to a must-win game. It's a very quick turnaround and not against an easy opponent. Long throw here for Bournemouth. Hill with the delivery, headed away by Haaland. And James Hill will retreat to pick it back up for Bournemouth. Launch out to the left side, a flick by Nunes, but that's gone out for a Bournemouth throw. And the referee ensuring that Bournemouth take it from the right spot. Referee Anthony Taylor tonight. Now VAR is Jared Gillett. Adam Smith seen out there by Jeremy Doku, but it will be a Bournemouth throw once more. Well, could this be Pep Guardiola's final game as City boss away from home? Not an easy last two games, Bournemouth and Aston Villa, but Pep Guardiola has done such an incredible job. Doesn't seem to be affected by the news. Well, look at that for a record. 592 games as the City manager, 6 Premier League titles and 17 major trophies, which is absolutely sensational. What a way it would to be to end it if City do have the fairy tale ending of winning tonight and then winning on Sunday and Arsenal dropping points, and City could be champions come Sunday. Tavernier brought it on. Evan Nielsen reverts the ball wide. Trufair takes it in, swings it in with the early cross. Little high though for Tavernier round the back, and will be picked up by Tyler Adams. Krupi. Nice darted ball into Evan Nielsen. Now Rayan. Out wide it goes to Smith, who crosses, blocked. And O'Reilly can feed it down the line for Jeremy Doku. I kind of feel this will be an end-to-end open game of football. That's what we kind of want to see. And one thing you have to say about Bournemouth, they're all in. They commit to everything. They commit to the cause wholeheartedly. And I mean, maybe they'll go on an 11-game winless run, but then they'll follow it up with a 16-game unbeaten run. So certainly that type of team. They're a streaky team, are Bournemouth. When they win, they win. And when they can't for the life of them win, they struggle. But one thing you can say throughout it all, they're committed to the cause. There's one thing about this Bournemouth team that's probably catapulted their success under Antonio Iraola is the intensity of this Bournemouth side. The physicality and intensity of this Bournemouth team. It's made them such a difficult team to play against in the Premier League. Not only this season, but over the last number of seasons. It's given quite a few teams a bloody nose. Doku works it back into the middle. It's a little loose. Kushanov will mop it up, but just a little bit open there from City. Excuse me. I feel like an old man yawning at 7 o'clock at night. Bernardo Silva. Nunes. Bernardo Silva again across to Nico O'Reilly. Darting, looking for options. Squares it to Bernardo Silva. He also will leave the club this summer, Bernardo Silva. Pep Guardiola's first signing at the club, Bernardo Silva. And what a journey those two have been on together. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. That ball from Caoimhan didn't quite work out, but Alex Scott was a little bit open with his pass. That was cut out by Rodri. Now Nunes couldn't find Haaland. That's what I mean. A lot of turnovers in possession. Both teams not afraid to try things. Be a bit more risky. Might not pay off, but they've both got the structure. You fail to recover the situation and win the ball back quickly. Here's Erling Haaland. Rolls it in behind. Semenyo's made the run. Semenyo finds the back of the net. But the flag is up. And offside it will be. Well, he thought he was going to have his moment against his former team. I mean, it's crazy to call them a former team when he's only with them a few months ago. It's relatively new, his departure, but yeah, he was maybe just a fraction offside there. Antoine Semenyo. It's not a good distance, but he is offside, you feel. And you can see. And the check complete from Jared Gillett to make sure that it was offside, but certainly the idea was there. Oh, yeah, nicely won back, but then plays a dangerous ball backwards. As I've seen, City win it back. It's topsy-turvy, the start of this game. Rodri. Played out to the left-hand side. Doku. Back to Rodri. Swings it across. Semenyo. Kovacic. Out to the left-hand side. Nico O'Reilly. Back to Mateo Kovacic. Really nice, sharp football from City so far. Khrushchev's going to hit one from range. That one's well off target. It will be a keen tactical battle, and as Andy says, it's a game of chess. It will be two managers who know their tactics inside out, know their teams inside out. And it's all about making little tweaks, making little changes to try and benefit the outcome. Let's see how this one rumbles on. True fair. Oh, lovely little fake by Krupi. And Taverniers breaking away, but Guéhi with the incredible recovery pace drives across to cut that one out. Again, fabulous from Krupi to leave it for Tavernier to make the runner behind. A little bit of a heavy touch from Tavernier, though. Let's Guéhi make the block, but here come Bournemouth again. True fair darts it across. Little hold up by True fair. Goodness me. That was beautiful stuff from Bournemouth. All started from that direct ball right across the box from True fair. Laid off by Krupi. Played back to Tavernier, who just rolled it across the 6-yard box. And Evan Nielsen, I mean, it was a tap-in from that sort of distance. And he just kind of toe-poked it well over the crossbar. I mean, it's harder to miss than it was to score for Evan Nielsen. That was scintillating football. Beautiful. City dangerous in their own box, but Adams' wayward pass. I think there was a foul anyway in the process, but City playing a dangerous game. And I am sure there are many, many, many Arsenal fans watching this game, hoping and praying that Bournemouth can even get a draw out of Manchester City. That's all they need tonight. They don't need a win. They don't need any sort of scoreline. All they need is City not to win the game. A draw or a Bournemouth win, and Arsenal are champions. Doku there driving infield and taken down. That's going to be a free kick. Adam Smith, the Bournemouth captain, committing the foul. Well, there is a scenario where three massive points are secured in terms of apologies, I've completely lost my train of thought. Obviously, two massive things at the top and the bottom of the table can be massively decided tonight. If Bournemouth and Spurs win, for example, Bournemouth will not only be very much in the battle for 5th place and will be guaranteed European football, but City will be out of the title race, Arsenal will be champions, and if Spurs win against Chelsea, West Ham will be relegated. So a lot can happen tonight before the final day of the season. But if certain things go certain ways, if City win and Chelsea win, for example, then everything else, it all goes down to the final day. And that's what makes it so exciting, is that we can have a title race, a relegation battle, and a European fight all going down to the final game of the season to decide the results. A reminder for you, the final day will be live on LFS Sunday at 3:45, 3:45 to build up to it all, for all 10 games kicking off at 4 o'clock Sunday on LFS. Bernardo Silva, wide to Semenyo. Against Adrian Truffert. Truffert gets a toe in this time, but Semenyo quickly wins it back. Rodri. Kovacic there just bundled off the ball by Alex Scott, who just got out-muscled him, really. Krupi, fabulous hold-up play and skips away from Kovacic. And then feeds a ball down the left channel for Tavernier. Not much further forward out of that, but at least he worked into Krupi's path with a little lob over the top from Senesi. And then it comes all the way back to the Bournemouth centre-back to recycle the possession. Rayan down the right-hand side. Smith on the overlap. Tiptoeing. Does play the ball out wide. Then back into Rayan. Strong start, but really, Bournemouth have probably had the best chance of the game to this point. Just short of 20 minutes gone. 0-0 here at the Vitality Stadium. What is a crucial night in the Premier League title race. City win. The title race goes down to the final day, but any other result, and Arsenal will be champions tonight. Beautiful 1-2 between Truffert and Tavernier. And Truffert is charging forward. Further infield, a little indecisive. He will roll it wide to Tavernier. Now to Krupi, Adams and Scott. Really sharp, crisp football from Bournemouth. Senesi drifting into space, trying to play that angled ball into Evan Nielsen's path, but that's cut out well by City. And then the ball fed in behind for Haaland to make the run. Long distance to go here as Haaland decides to just settle with the possession rather than the counter-attack for City. As I was saying, Manchester City beat Bournemouth in the reverse fixture earlier in the season, 3-1 at the Etihad. Bournemouth actually levelled in that game. Erling Haaland gave them City an early lead. Adams then equalised for Bournemouth, for Erling Haaland then re-gave City the lead just 8 minutes after the Bournemouth leveller. And then Nico O'Reilly scored in the second half to put the game beyond any reasonable doubt at that point. And City won by 3-1. City in fact, have won each of the last 3 games against Bournemouth in all comps. And in terms of league form, been in an incredible run. Only 1 defeat since 2015 against Bournemouth in the Premier League, home or away, and that came in November 2024. Bournemouth won 2-1 here in that game. And in terms of that, there's not been a draw between the sides in any of their Premier League meetings, ever. It's been a win either way, but massively in the favour of City. Through in here to Bournemouth though, right hand side. Whistle goes from Anthony Taylor. Tavernier to take the long throw. Corner delivered in, end of the way. Truefair will spin it back round into the box. Evan Nielsen was the target, but that's just cleared by City. Scott, oh, almost caught out there by Haaland. He was half-yard away, but he did clear the ball, and that pressure from City forces Bournemouth to put it out of play for a throw. He nearly stole it away there, Erling Haaland. Nearly. Not quite, though. Haaland trying to go in a little battle there, but nicely guided by Bournemouth. As it stands, only 1 shot on target between either side. That came from Manchester City. So very much in a way of possession and territory battle than anything else. Semenyo down the right channel. Bernardo Silva flicks it across. Haaland struggled to take control, and Scott finds it away. As Evan Nielsen was brought down. And it's actually going to be a foul against Bournemouth rather than for them. See it again. Scott plays the ball through, and Evan Nielsen just in a foot race with Gurhey. And I think the referee has seen it that Gurhey was brought down by Evan Nielsen rather than the other way around. And a free kick to City was given. Donnarumma to Gurhey. Now Doku. Here is Mateo Kovacic. Bernardo Silva chips it over the top, looking for the run of Matheus Nunes, but just a little ahead of the City fullback. That's going to be a goal kick. Andy says, if Man City win both games and Gunners draw their last game, who wins? So the title would then come down to goal difference at that point, because if City win their final 2 games, that would leave them on 83 points. Yeah, 83 points, and Arsenal, if they were to draw their final game, would also be on 83 points. And depending, actually not depending, City would win the title on goal difference, because Arsenal's goal difference would not change if they drew, so theirs would still be plus 43, and City's would be guaranteed to be better than 43, which it currently is, if they win their final 2 games. So, if City win their last 2 games and Arsenal draw on Sunday, then City would be champions on goal difference. But if City were to drop points at any point in those 2, they have to win their final 2 games. If they drop points at any point, Arsenal will be automatically crowned champions because they've already played the game more and they have the 5-point gap. Lovely ball played through. Kovacic made the nice run. Haaland lays it out wide to Doku. Drifting into the box. Lots of Bournemouth players in his way as Doku took the shot from the narrow angle. It took a deflection, according to the referee. That's going to be a City corner. We'll see it again. Haaland does well. Lays it out wide to Doku. Just takes his man on. And Adam Smith, and does get the little nick off the foot of the Bournemouth defender from the cross, and that will be a City corner, their first of the game. Bernardo Silva's not happy that Ryan is as close as he is to the corner. Fascinating. Ball swung in by Bernardo Silva. The header by Kovacic. Cleared off the line, not fully away yet. It's a fired effort by Haaland. Is stopped on the goal line. See it again here. Good header by Kovacic. Caused a little bit of chaos. Evan Nielsen tries to clear it. Ends up putting it into the mix. And as it drops to Haaland from the narrow angle from the left, he smashes it. And it's cleared away from the Bournemouth goal at the last seconds. City with another corner. They work with pressure. Bernardo Silva's ball in. There's got to be a foul in the box there. That's going to be a free kick to Bournemouth. Adam Smith was fouled. Well, Andoni Iraola has taken charge of 125 Bournemouth games before this. Won 48 of them, lost 41, drawn 36. Could he win his final home game in charge of Bournemouth? That will be quite perfect. He'll be the only manager in Bournemouth's history to register 2 league wins over Manchester City in the Premier League era. Currently the only manager to do it once. Never mind, twice. Oh, bouncing ball in behind here. Doku was making the run, but a fabulous last-ditch tackle by James Hill. Clears it away, but that was dangerous from Doku. Huge from Hill. Thump it away from Doku's threat and Doku's run. Just short of the half-hour mark here at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth 0, City 0. City seemingly more in control, but the game very open. You kind of feel that a goal could come at either end, really. If one of these 2 teams can just tighten it up a little bit in the final third. A little loose there from Kushanov. Then replied with another loose pass by Senesi from Bournemouth. So seems to be continually a little bit open. Bernardo Silva. Rodri to Matej Cunha. Matej Cunha. Matej Nunes. Matej Cunha. Rodri pings one out to the left-hand side, but a good, strong defensive header by Ryan, really, as a winger. Good, strong defensive header. Back to his goalkeeper. That's a nice ball down the left towards True Fair. One thing I would also say about Bournemouth, they're always changing direction. They're never going in one direction. They're always zigzagging around the pitch. Their movement is so incredibly intricate that it is so hard for teams to stop them, to pick them up, to mark their opponents, to stay really on the same page as Bournemouth, because there's so much movement. No player is in the same position for a number of seconds in a row. It's always changing, it's always evolving. They're always flipping and moving into different areas, trying to find the space. They're always constantly moving, and there's nothing more dangerous than playing against a team and being out of possession against a team that are always constantly on the move. It creates unique triangles, unique passes, opens up new passing lanes. It's what makes them so dynamic and so dangerous. Matish Nunes, lovely through ball there to Bernardo Silva, who's picking up a pocket. Now Doku. And ample Bournemouth players back to defend this. Rodri. Semenyo tries the shots, takes a little deflection, and will bounce up into the hands of the Bournemouth keeper, Jure Petrovic. Well, they share out the goals, Bournemouth, there's no doubt about that. They scored 56 and conceded 52 this season, so they've been entertaining to watch. Kept it very close. They've had 16 Premier League draws this season. That is by far the most of any Premier League team. Second to that would be Leeds with 14 draws. Evan Nielsen with a flick-on header. That's actually going to go for a City foul. No way through there. Well, Bournemouth are on the verge of being possibly record equalers. They can equal a Premier League record here tonight if they draw their first ever game against City in the Premier League. It would be their 17th league win of the season, which would be the joint most draws in a single campaign. It's happened 4 times before. Newcastle once, Aston Villa twice, and Sunderland once. In previous seasons that have drawn 17 times in a single campaign. And if Bournemouth were to draw their final 2 games of the season, they would break the Premier League record for the most draws in a single campaign, which would be a new record of 18 if they were to draw here tonight and at the weekends. And they're also on another record. If they were to draw tonight, they would join Sheffield Wednesday, Leicester and Man United with holding the most home draws in a single season, with 10 home draws. This would be their 10th home draw of the season if they were to draw this one. That would be another joint Premier League record. Well, the referee Anthony Taylor is having a chat with 2 of the Bournemouth backroom staff at the moment, so I don't know what that's about, but whatever it is, he wasn't happy with the 2 there, Anthony Taylor, and had a quick chat. Last 10 minutes of the first half, which has seemingly flew by, really, this first 35 minutes of this game, despite there not being really too much attack and action. You always kind of feel there's a bit of danger from both teams. City have definitely been the more threatening of the 2 teams, and certainly the more offensively dangerous, but Bournemouth, you kind of feel, have always got that in their locker. Nicely won by Krupi. Rayan just behind Eli Junior Krupi there, and that's picked up by Mark Gehi. Remember for you, Chelsea against Spurs is an 8:15 kickoff from Stamford Bridge. We'll talk about that game at half-time in this one, tell you about the early moments of that one when this game is at an interval. And we'll talk about the whole situation there at half-time. In this game at the Vitality, here is Antoine Semenyo. Trying to roll it through to Haaland, but a couple of Bournemouth players get in the way, and the referee's actually going to give a foul against Erling Haaland for a push in the back of James Hill. Yeah, just a push in the back of the Bournemouth defender there. No question. No doubt about that. Yellow card has been handed out to Tyler Adams for dissent, I would suspect. And he's been given a booking as the Bournemouth midfielder. Nunes in a bit of a tricky spot here. He's got Krupi right behind him. Eli Junior Krupi's probably been looking like the most dangerous Bournemouth player so far, certainly between the lines. Up some dangerous they picked up the ball in some dangerous situations, but Smith with a strong header. They've also got that mix, Bournemouth. You look at Bournemouth, they've got that mix of real dogged, hard-working, kind of grafty players, and then combine that with the silky, smooth, skillful players. They've got that really fine balance. You know, you look at a Tyler Adams and you think, a real grafter, a real kind of dogged player. Adam Smith, even James Hill to an extent as well. And then you look at further forward, a Krupi or a Ryan or a Tavernier or even an Evan Nielsen, more skillful players. They've got that fine balance in the team, which you have to have as a good team. You can't be weak, but then you also can't lack attack and skill. You have to have that balance, and I think Bournemouth have just teetered on that pretty well this season. And sometimes I think it's actually gone a lot of people under the radar. The Bournemouth lost, nearly all of their defence in the summer just past. Here's an opportunity. Krupi! What a finish! Eli Junior Krupi. I said he's been Bournemouth's biggest threats. Well, he's just produced the biggest moment of this game. And Manchester City, who've probably been pushing for the opener, concede the opener. Arsenal will be celebrating along with Bournemouth at this. Eli Junior Krupi has given a massive body blow to Manchester City's title hopes. A title hopes that could be diminishing under the Vitality lights tonight. But again, it's really good build-up play from Bournemouth. I said about their constant movement. There's never a player that's standing in one spot. But it's, again, the overlap from Truefair. The cutback, we actually saw a dangerous cutback from Truefair, squared to Krupi a little earlier in the game. This time he takes it on himself, takes the touch, sets himself on his right foot, and just curls it into the top right corner. Donnarumma can only stand and watch it sail past him. And a punch into the air from Andoni Iraola in his final home game as Bournemouth manager. And Bournemouth lead by 1-0 through Eli Junior Krupi. Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 0. And that is horror for those City fans. And it could be even worse here. He's in behind again, Krupi. This time off target. I think the flag was up anyway. Well. Well, if Arsenal weren't confirmed champions before, they certainly would be with this scoreline. As it stands, Arsenal would be 5 points clear, apologies, at the top of the table. And that would be confirmed champions status for the Gunners if this was to stay as it is right now. They would be the champions. City have to turn this around to win to keep the title race alive going into the weekend. Wonderful goal. And a pretty horrible moment to concede for City so late in the half. And pretty much a half which they've controlled. They've been attacking on a few good opportunities. I don't think they've been anything really clear-cut dangerous. But they've certainly had one or two little glimpses at goal. But Bournemouth, a beautiful, beautiful goal. Wonderful team move. Great cutback by Truferin. Gorgeous from Eli Junior Krupi. The touch, the set, the finish. Fabulous. As it stands, a Bournemouth win would put them on 58 points. They would be a point behind 5th place Liverpool with a win tonight. But it would put them 5 clear of Brighton and secured 6th place. And Bournemouth, really, at the end of the day, whatever happens at Anfield, they will be going into the final day knowing that if Liverpool win and Villa lose, then Liverpool will finish 4th, Villa will finish 5th, and if Villa win the Europa League tomorrow night, then that could get Bournemouth Champions League football via 6th. Or if Liverpool fail to win and Bournemouth win on the final day, then they could get Champions League football via 5th anyway. So Champions League football is very much on for Bournemouth if they win this game. Even if they don't win this game, even if they hang on to 6th and Villa win the Europa League and then Villa finish 5th, it's a lot that needs to happen, but if it does happen, Bournemouth will be given a Champions League place as the 6th place team in the Premier League. But at the moment, they're doing it on merit. And this unbeaten run, it was not to be sniffed at. It was not to be dismissed. And as we edge close to the end of the first half, Bournemouth are showing their strength, their consistency, their power, and their ability to be dangerous. And those City fans and players have now seen it firsthand how strong this Bournemouth team have been since the turn of the year. I mean, we talk about the turn of the year, we're in May, and we're talking about how strong they've been since the start of the calendar year. That's incredible. I mean, I just don't think it's mentioned enough. Like, no disrespect to Bournemouth, but on a 16-game unbeaten run, it's something that City or Arsenal or the top teams would be proud of. No disrespect to Bournemouth in any stretch, but I mean, it's unheard of. Certainly for a club that's only chasing Europe. You know, you always lose the odd game, but it's been incredible. In this first half, they've been able to hang in there and create their chance and get their chance when it's come for them. And take it, crucially. 1 shot on target, 1 goal. That's all you need. So far, Bournemouth have been ultra clinical getting that opening goal. As we enter the final few seconds of the first 45, we'll see how long will be added on at the end of the 90, or the end of the first 45. Getting ahead of myself, end of the 90. I actually put Eli Junior Krupi in my fantasy team this week, and Adrian Trufer. I am delighted. Trufer got the assist and Krupi scored. Perfect. 2 added minutes at the end of the first half. Here is Jeremy Doku. Down the left-hand side, tiptoeing into the box. Seen away by Adams, only for the moment. Kovacic flicks it across, away by Senesi from Haaland. And Evan Nielsen and Guehi have collided again. Those two have been wrestling. And like a WWE title fight between those two tonight. And they've continued to wrestle the whole way through the first half. Just to let you know, Chelsea against Spurs has just kicked off at Stamford Bridge. That game kicked off at 8. It was an 8:15 start. They are just underway at Stamford Bridge, so it is goalless as they have just literally begun. We'll keep you up to date with that game across the half-time interval at the Vitality Stadium. Matej Nunes. Jink, but run into trouble, and Semenyo lost the ball, and now Krupi's trying to lead a charge for another Bournemouth counter. Here's Tavernier, clip round the corner. He just maybe got a toe to it to clear it out for the throw-in on the far right, but certainly a really tricky first half from Manchester City's point of view, and the two Peps trying to combine their incredible ideas into something tangible for City. They need to come up with their best moments tonight to try and save their title charge. Any drop points and Arsenal are champions tonight. Long throw in from Bournemouth here on the right hand side, launched into the area and up into the hands of Donnarumma, who was dominant, and that will curtail the first half. A first 45 that will have the red side of North London dreaming and the blue side of Manchester retching. 45 minutes away is what separates Arsenal from the title, but City have to come and turn this around in the second half. Eli Junior Krupi with the crucial goal, with a clutch goal in the first half, and Bournemouth are leading at the break. Half time at the Vitality Stadium. It's Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 0.
Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.
Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time at the Vitality Stadium. It's Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 0 at the break. Eli Junior Krupi's goal, the difference between the two teams at this moment in time, and we are officially underway at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Spurs into the 5th minute of the game. Spurs have a corner here on the right-hand side. Swung, actually cut back by Porro. There was a chance there a second ago that Jarell Hato almost prodded into his own net, trying to play it back to his goalkeeper. Luckily for him, it went off target, but that would have been a calamitous moment. Remember what effect this game has on the relegation battle. Spurs get anything out of this game at the Bridge, they will be secured and safe in the Premier League next season. West Ham would be effectively relegated. Mathematically, it would only be confirmed mathematically with a Spurs win tonight, but a Chelsea win would take it to the final day in the in the relegation battle. Right, a quick look to the table, because as it stands with the current scorelines, now of course, as it stands, some people call it a nonsense, but as it stands, City are losing, so Arsenal would technically be champions right now this second if the game was to end as it is. And at the bottom of the table, as it stands, West Ham would be effectively relegated as it stands, because they're drawing 0-0 Spurs, so they would be on 39 points, 3 ahead of West Ham. Those are as it stands, of course, but with the 2 games ending right now, it would mean West Ham will be relegated and Arsenal would be champions. But remember, long way to go on the night. Lots still to be decided. But as you can see there at the bottom, Spurs with a much better goal difference than West Ham. A -9 for Spurs to -22 of West Ham. They need a 7-goal swing across the last 2 games of the season for Spurs, and a West Ham draw, effectively, to really make the difference up. But that ain't going to happen. I mean, I can quite confidently say there's not going to be a 7-goal swing between the two when it comes to the relegation battle. Further up the table, though, as you can see, keep your eye at the top as well, but dart your eye down a little bit the table. 5th and 6th. Liverpool on 59 points after their defeat to Aston Villa on Friday night. And Bournemouth on 58 as it stands, just a point behind Arne Slot's team, with them currently beating Manchester City at the Vitality by a goal to 0 at the break. As Chelsea come forward there, Cucurella wins the corner. But as it stands, that would go down to the final day as well. Bournemouth have Forest and Liverpool home to Brentford. Brentford are also pushing for Europe of their own, and they'll have a game to fight, as will Brighton against United on the final day. So lots to look forward to there as well, and we'll keep you right up to date with all 10 games taking place this Sunday afternoon. A 3:45 start here in LFS to build up to all of the games and every game that has something on it, because there will definitely be something, even if the relegation battle and title race is decided tonight, which could effectively happen. We still have many's a team still fighting for Europe to look forward to at the weekend, and that could be very much our focus. But let's hope not. Let's hope for everything eventual possibility to happen on the final day. Who wouldn't want that? Sunday, 3:45. Kick-off, of course, at 4 o'clock in all 10 games on Sunday. Actually, haven't actually reviewed the games on Sunday. Quick look at them. Brighton host Man United at the Amex. Burnley welcome Wolves, a battle for bottom spot in the table between those two, whoever wins that game. Crystal Palace Arsenal, of course, very important game at Sellers Park. Fulham take on Newcastle. Liverpool host Brentford. Aston Villa head to Manchester City, of course. Forest welcome Bournemouth. Sunderland at home to Chelsea. Spurs welcome Everton, and Leeds head to West Ham. So some key games to point out there, of course. Brighton pushing for Europe, take on Man United. Crystal Palace Arsenal from the title race. Liverpool Brentford for Europe. City Villa for the title race. Bournemouth Forest, or Forest Bournemouth shall I say, in terms of the European fight. Even Sunderland have a chance to get into the top 8 if results go their way and they beat Chelsea or draw with Chelsea on Sunday, so that's still possible. Spurs Everton as well. Chelsea also can still snatch Europe, very much so. So they're not done and dusted just yet either. So a win tonight for Chelsea would be a massive boost in their push for Europe. And of course, West Ham leads in the relegation battle, if it does go down to that point, remember, on Sunday. So lots to look forward to there. In terms of the Championship playoff final, that is the day before the final game of the season. Confirmed, at least for now, we know, the 2026 Championship playoff final. Hull City against Middlesbrough. Who will be a Premier League team next season? Who will be in the Premier League next campaign? We will find out Sunday at 4:30 kickoff from Wembley Stadium. And then it is going to be a busy summer because the 2026 FIFA World Cup gets underway Thursday, the 11th of June, in the opening game, Mexico taking on South Africa. Of course, Mexico, one of the co-hosts of the 2026 World Cup alongside USA and Canada, and they get the game underway, the tournament underway, in Mexico City on Thursday, the 11th of June. Taking on South Africa, a true quality opening game in the FA Cup, in the World Cup this summer. It all concludes with the World Cup final on Sunday, the 19th of July, at MetLife Stadium in New York, New Jersey, really. Right, what a massive save has just occurred at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Spurs. We see this again. It's a Porro cross from the right-hand side. It's just over the head of Richarlison. And is it Matisse Tell? It is, with the flick on. And I think it's come off the post. I don't know whether the goalkeeper gets something to it here. He does, massively. So you see another angle. That's a fantastic save by Robert Sanchez. Well, massive save to keep Chelsea from going behind. Spurs corner. Porro, right-footed delivery. Drops down into the box, and that will roll its way through. Just into the hands of the Chelsea goalkeeper. So still 0-0 at Stamford Bridge. We have about 5 minutes to go before the second half gets underway at the Vitality between Bournemouth and Manchester City. And we'll actually just recap some earlier storylines for you, because remember we told you about the Championship playoff final. Southampton have officially been expelled from the playoffs after the Spygate situation. They admitted to multiple counts of spying on opponents before games, including against Middlesbrough in the playoffs, and 2 other occasions as well. Middlesbrough are therefore reinstated into the playoffs and will face Hull in the playoff final on Saturday. As a result, Southampton have been excluded, and they will also receive a 4-point deduction from the start of next season in the Championship. And on top of that, they will appeal the decision, though, which is expected to be heard tomorrow. But, as I've already mentioned, you've got to make the point, if they've already admitted to wrongdoing, I don't think there's going to be much coming out of that appeal. But we will, in due course, find out. Also, the big headline that Pep Guardiola is expectedly leaving City at the weekend. According to reports, he is expected to leave Man City after Sunday's final game of the season against Aston Villa. Joined City, did Pep Guardiola back in July 2016, almost 10 years ago, and has won 6 Premier League titles, a Champions League trophy, the first in City's history. There are 3 FA Cups and 5 Carabao Cups in charge. And Enzo Maresca is expected to take over as City boss, with talks reportedly at an advanced stage right now. Fantastic. Certainly some interesting storylines to come from this week. Right, second half to come between Bournemouth and City, where Bournemouth are leading by a goal to 0, which, as it stands, would confirm Arsenal as champions, as Cole Palmer forces a good save out of Kinski in the Spurs goal. Yeah, good strike by Palmer. Left-footed curler from the edge of the D. It's effortless from Cole Palmer. And a good save out of Antonin Kinski to deny Chelsea an opener. Right, we'll be back after this short break. Second half at the Vitality on the way next.
Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.
welcome back to Premier League Live. Second half at the Vitality Stadium between Bournemouth and Manchester City. On the way in just a moment. Recap for you, it's still Chelsea 0, Spurs 0 at Stamford Bridge. That game kicked off at 8:15, so they are into just the 16th minute of that game. So a long way to go. The first half that is not long underway. And we'll keep you up to date with that one right throughout the night. But a reminder that the Premier League final day is just 5 days away. This Sunday, 4 o'clock kickoff for all 10 games on the final day of the season. We'll be live from 3:45 to give you all the key information and all the permutations that could take place on the final day of the season. But a big second half to come. Between Bournemouth and Manchester City. City know they must win tonight to keep the title race alive. A draw or a loss for City would give Arsenal the Premier League title tonight ahead of the final game of the season at the weekend. After their 1-0 win last night, Arsenal, they are now on the verge and effectively just 45 minutes away from winning the title. It is going to have to be one hell of a second half turnaround from City if they are to expel the Bournemouth win and the Bournemouth lead and win themselves. Otherwise, the title race is over. Now the players are out for the second half and we're about to get going. Eli Junior Krupe, who scored the goal, has kicked us back off in this second half. I have to actually, what I'll do, seeing that game is underway now at the bridge, we will put that on the second screen. That'll be a good idea, wouldn't it? Why I didn't have that prepared, I'll never know, but that's what we'll do now. And what I'm hearing is I might have timed that to absolute perfection because there's been a goal at Stamford Bridge. And it is massive because already one part of London is celebrating and another part is going to be celebrating because Chelsea have taken the lead against Spurs. It is 1-0 to Chelsea. It is Enzo Fernandez with the goal. As City in behind here, O'Reilly, good save. Doku couldn't cut it back to any of his teammates. Well, that's a big chance for City right from the off in the second half. And I mean, you haven't about eyes in the back of your head watching these two games at the moment. Well, Chelsea do lead at the bridge, and we'll show you what that does to the Premier League table in a moment. It's Bournemouth push here. And ultimately, City not able to go much further with that attacking chance. But we see this moment again. So it's a ball through to Haaland. He takes a fabulous first touch away from James Hill. A weighted ball in behind for O'Reilly. Good save out of Petrovic. And then it comes back to Jeremy Doku, who tries to cut it back across the box to a teammate rather than take the shot on himself. And in the end, it's defended by Bournemouth. But ultimately, a dangerous chance for Nico O'Reilly, who, remember, came off the bench against Bournemouth in the FA Cup and scored 2 goals to turn it around for City and win that game in the FA Cup against them a number of seasons ago. Or actually, was that last season? I actually think it was. Nico O'Reilly came off the bench and scored 2 goals. He did. Or sorry, he set up 2 goals. Erling Haaland and Omar Mamouche got the goals, and Nico O'Reilly with the assist to both after Evan Nielsen gave Bournemouth the lead in the first half of that one. Right. So they are playing at 1-0 at Stamford Bridge to Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez with that goal, and we can show you what that does to the Premier League table. Have a quick look there. Down the bottom. So Spurs would stay outside the relegation zone. We know that for certain. But what we do know, with a Spurs defeat, it would take the relegation battle to the final day of the season, and Spurs would have to get something at home against Everton. If Everton were to win at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and West Ham were to win, then Spurs would be relegated and West Ham would stay up, but any other result would relegate West Ham. That is known. But as we see this goal, again, Neto lays it off to Fernandes, who shoots from range. Great strike with his right foot into the bottom left corner. Wonderful goal. Beautiful goal. 1-0 to Chelsea. And Spurs not out of the danger zone just yet. 1-0 Chelsea. So the home side's winning by a goal to nil at this moment in time. Switch ball out to the right hand side. Here is Mateusz Nunes. Couldn't find the ball through as Tavernier breaks apart. Adams looking for the little flick with Tavernier, but that will roll out of play for a City throw down the right hand side. As we watch Pep Guardiola much more animated in the second half. He was sitting down and observing his team in the first half. He's got a bit more vocal in the second, as last ditch challenge there from Hill. That will be a corner, as Haaland was making the run in behind. Kind of failed City have targeted a more of a run off the back of the Bournemouth defence kind of approach. We're looking for runs in behind, and we saw that Semenyo goal that was disallowed, that was offside. That's where City had been most dangerous. Those runs in behind Bournemouth. Haaland, a little flick there by Rodri from the corner, but that's cleared away. Shanov with the switch. Bernardo Silva was blocked off there by Ryan, doing a bit of defending. City with a throw in. 5 minutes gone in the second half. It's been all City pressure on Bournemouth. Bournemouth have fended it off for the moment. Also Chelsea leading Spurs by a goal to nil at the Bridge as well. Remember, they're only into the first half of that game. They kicked off at 8:15 tonight. As Ryan there tried to backheel it to win a throw-in. In the end, he backheeled it to give City a throw-in. O'Reilly. Down the line to Doku. He lost his wayward. That was nicely done by Alex Scott. Played to Ryan. And this is a beautiful ball through the lines here. It's Tavernier. Can he hang on to it? He can. Does well to find it back to Adrian Truffert. Tyler Adams. Strong possession from Bournemouth there. Poor ball there, forward by Adam Smith. A bit of a lazy pass. Nico O'Reilly linking up with Bernardo Silva, but Haaland couldn't keep a hold of it, and Scott steals it away. Lovely direction with his chest there from Evan Nielsen. And they're away here, Bournemouth. Krupi finds Tavernier. Clips inside. Krupi directs it out wide. Truffert across. Evan Nielsen. Good save by Donnarumma. Well, that was almost a carbon copy of the moment Evan Nielsen had early in the first half. This one a bit further right though, but certainly the link up, the fluidity, the movement, beautiful again from Bournemouth, deserving of a goal. And Evan Nielsen has another effort denied, this time by the hands of the goalkeeper. Will be a Bournemouth corner though. Beautiful football, absolutely beautiful. Scott to deliver, right footed. Headed away at the near post by Nunes. Truffert tries to get it back in the mix. A couple of flicks. It's Kovacic, not the most confident of clearances, but Bournemouth actually effectively clear it for City on that occasion with Ryan's header. Here is Mateo Kovacic driving forward, lays it through for Haaland. Haaland into the box, carried a little wide. Cuts it back to Rodri, clipped in by Kushanov. Doku couldn't get the clean shot on it. Now the shot from Bernardo Silva, but that's easily stopped by Bournemouth. Excuse me. It looks like there's some movement from the City bench. So some changes imminent, maybe. I have to say, usually I pick a side, or usually I have a feeling about what I want to happen, what I would rather happen. I actually don't know what I want. I actually don't know what I want to see. Do I want to see Arsenal win the title tonight, or do I want it to go to the final day, or who do I want it to win in the final day if it goes that far? I actually don't know. I'm just enjoying watching it. For once, as someone whose team is not in the mix whatsoever, it's enjoyable to watch. Well, City have recovered the fewest points from losing positions this season. Only Newcastle have picked up fewer points from losing positions. Just 4 points they've picked up when losing this season, City. That is a atrocious number when it comes to a team with Pep Guardiola's stature and the quality they have to bring off the bench. They're going to bring 3 players on here in a moment, City. What they do need to do is almost equal their tally for the season in points picked up from losing positions. To keep this title race alive, they need 3 points here tonight. At the moment, they're getting none. And this is a dangerous trio to bring on if you want to make changes and change the way the game's going. Bernardo Silva is going to be replaced by Ryan Cherky. Phil Foden is going to be coming on, as is Savinho. Mateo Kovacic is coming off for Foden. And Antoine Semenyo is coming off for Savinho. So, applauded by the home crowd though, Antoine Semenyo. After spending half of the season here, and a number of seasons prior to that, but his departure not on sour terms, which is nice to see. Very rare you see that in football. But a triple City substitution to try and change this game. Savinho, Foden and Cherky all on, replacing Bernardo Silva, Mateo Kovacic and Antoine Semenyo. There's no doubting the strength of this City squad. Can they produce in a game which they must win? Every time I look over to my left-hand side of that second screen in the Chelsea-Spurs game, it's Chelsea in the attack, in attacking areas. It's a Chelsea free kick there, but we'll watch this from City first. Long throw into the box. Didn't actually quite reach its target as Bournemouth clear it away. A direct ball in behind, which he has to guide back to his goalkeeper under a bit of pressure, but comfortably did so. Chelsea, I think, have just hit the crossbar directly from a free kick, so they've come ever so close to doubling their lead there, Chelsea. It is still 1-0, but they have just hit the crossbar directly from a free kick, so Spurs slightly on the ropes at Stamford Bridge. I do also have Haaland and Cherky in my fantasy team, so I wouldn't mind if they combined for a goal here. Be nice. Croupy. Tyler Adams now. Adams going for the reverse to find True Fair, who felt he was fouled, but the referee said he run into City player himself. It was a slip there from Rodri. Now Bournemouth back onto the ball. Senesi. True Fair down the line. Linking up with Tavernier. Beautiful again. True Fair. Trying to swing it in early. Blocked by the City defender, who's ended up going down there. Kushanov in pain. Will be a Bournemouth throw. Again, beautiful football from Bournemouth, I have to say. It's really gorgeous. I mean, it's so simple, but it's so nice to watch. Really enjoyable. I have to say, if I had to pick a team this season who I've enjoyed watching the most, when I have watched them, it's been Bournemouth. Every game that I've watched of them this season, they've entertained. Long throw into the box. Cleared away by Haaland, or at least half cleared. Now, sprung full range, and that's going to be a City free kick. Savinho brought down. But there's a Bournemouth player down as well afterwards. There's going to be a yellow card handed out by the referee Anthony Taylor. So we see this again. James Hill and Savinho. Yeah, and I think it's Hill that actually commits the foul on Savinho. And inadvertently, Savinho falls into to Tyler Adams. But it's James Hill who gets the booking for the foul on Savinho. Bodies on the line there from Bournemouth in the middle of the pitch, showing their fighting desire. Nico O'Reilly. Let's overrun it massively there. City trying to force the issue a little bit, and Bournemouth playing off the back of that. Beautiful again, True Fair and Tavernier across to Evan Nielsen, who rolls it back. And Eli Junior Krupe was again the one to hit the shot. This one curled just over the crossbar, but look at this. I said City forcing the issue. Nico O'Reilly charges into midfield, loses the way of the ball, and Bournemouth off the back of it win it down the left. It's Tavernier and True Fair scintillating again, and as the ball comes across, it's Evan Nielsen, just a little flick, back heels it into the path of Krupe, who struck clean through the ball and just couldn't keep the shot down in the end, as Bournemouth win a corner here. Scott guiding that one out, ushering it out for the corner. Well, after a bit of a slow start to the second half, the home side have certainly awoken, and they are in the ascendancy once more. It's been all Chelsea at Stamford Bridge since the Blues took the lead through Enzo Fernandez. So more Chelsea pressure on the Spurs goal, but it remains 1-0 to Chelsea for the moment. Right, Tavernier over to take this Bournemouth corner. It is their third corner of the game. Tavernier gets a lot of lift and depth on that one as it's cut back. Oh! Ryan headed wide. Well, it was headed down at the back post by Tyler Adams, I think it was. Or it was actually James Hill. James Hill heads it down as it comes round the corner from Ryan. He whacks it off the outside of the left post. Another big chance for Bournemouth. If anything, Bournemouth are pushing for a second. And that is surely... I mean, what is that? City are definitely forcing the issue here. They're giving it away really cheaply. Rodri again. Evan Nielsen. Wide on the left it goes. Tavernier. Adams. Tavernier. True Fair. You kind of feel as well, though, Bournemouth don't take their chances when they're on top. We've seen it before. They can come back and haunt you, but kind of feel in this moment they're dominating the game. Second goal is not too far away if they can keep this up. Here's Phil Foden. Wide to Jeremy Doku. Drifting down the left. Foden making a run into the box. Doku just tiptoeing into the area. Rolls it back to the edge. Rodri will shoot, but will shoot high over the crossbar. Yeah, he's looked unsettled there. Just didn't set himself well enough and was leaning back there, Rodri. He's looked off the boil since returning from injury recently. Hasn't looked to anywhere near his best level. Gehi. Doku onto his right foot. Looking around the edge of the box, trying to lift the ball in. That's headed away by Hill. Wide down the right-hand side comes City. Savino around the outside, and no way through. Adrian Truefair, like a concrete wall. No way through. Fabulous from the Bournemouth left-back. And the Frenchman was giving no glimmer to anyone on the way through there. And the crowd are jubilant. It's the final home game of the season for Bournemouth, and they are very much thoroughly enjoying it right now. Doku just run that ball out of play. City just haven't been to their level tonight. Just haven't been at their best by any stretch. Actually, he felt that he kept it in there, Doku, and the visual evidence is hard to argue with. Should have been played on there rather than seen as a Bournemouth throw. Ball through here. Bournemouth with another chance. Truefair clipping it across, but stopped on the way through. Again, Tavernier gets a little bit of luck really in the end with the ball going through to Truefair, but I mean, if any of these two deserve luck, it's Bournemouth, because they've been excellent tonight. They've worked so hard for it. Really, really excellent. And they've got another corner here. Right-footed delivery, headed away at the near post. As it bounces out for the throw on the far left side. Another Bournemouth chance. And James Hill will come over to take this long throw. Halfway through the second half. Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 0. As it stands, Arsenal will be champions and Bournemouth will be heading to Europe. Long throw into the box, headed away by Haaland, flicked back in by Truefair, and drops into the hands of Gianluigi Donnarumma. Well, as a Liverpool fan, I was certainly hoping for a Man City win tonight, but at the end of the day, we need to do our job on Saturday, and we get Champions League footballs, or on Sunday, sorry, so really, you can't be relying upon other results. But watching it as a neutral right now, I'm thoroughly enjoying Bournemouth's football, there's no doubt about that. I think I've watched a number of Bournemouth games this season. I mean, I didn't commentate on this one, but the 4-4 with Man United was probably one of my favourite games of the season, and just how mad that game was, just how chaotic it was earlier in the campaign. Even the Liverpool game here, albeit I despise the result as a Liverpool fan. Ryan in behind, ball cut across, dangerous again there. Donnarumma was worried. Ryan was dangerous. See it here, just cuts past O'Reilly on the right side, and as the cut from O'Reilly, the cutback from Ryan comes off O'Reilly and then off the left hand of Donnarumma. Fabulous to force a dangerous moment out of that from Ryan. Really, really strong. As Tavernier will take the corner, but that Liverpool game where they were 2-0 up, then they went back to 2-2 and scored the late winner. Incredible. Spurs game here, what an unbelievable game that was. I mean, incredible from Bournemouth in moments this season. Absolutely sensational. But the one I remember the most, back in October when they beat Fulham 3-1 here. An incredible moment. Antoine Semenyo scored 2 goals in that game as for Bournemouth. It was an incredible comeback. But they've thoroughly entertained me this season, no doubt about that. I'd have to say, if I had to talk about the team I've enjoyed watching the most, it's been Bournemouth. But Alex Scott to take the corner. Of course, we'll also be doing on Sunday our awards of the season, my player of the season, manager of the season, young player of the season, all of that type of stuff. That'll be done on Sunday as well before kick-off. Right-footed delivery into the box. Oh, Donnarumma spilled it, but it's going to be a free kick to Manchester City for a foul in the area. Well, City have to find a comeback in the next 20 minutes. That's what is evident right now. They kind of feel Evan Nielsen was penalising, or kind of impeding, shall I say, Donnarumma. That's what was given. 20 minutes to save the season. Arsenal, 20 minutes from champions. That is what we are watching right now. That is where we sit and stand right at this moment in time. Doku breaking in behind though. Said he don't want to give it up easily. Doku cuts it back. Thumped behind by Ryan. Hit the roof of the stand behind the goal there from Ryan. He made sure that was going behind. And there was no one getting anywhere near it. Short corner taken by Cherky, who's been barely in the game since he came off the bench. Doku cuts to the byline and seen away by Ryan. Fabulous defending again. Absolutely fabulous from Bournemouth. Incredible. As it continues to slip away from Manchester City. Minute by minute. Second by second. And every tick of the clock. They are getting ever further away from being Premier League champions, and Arsenal are getting ever closer to being Premier League champions. Riley down the left, lost the run of the ball. Kind of feel if City lost belief. I don't want to go down that route, but they're really struggling here at the minute. I haven't been able to come up with many ideas to counter what Bournemouth have done, which is basically just keep them at bay and apply even more pressure of their own Bournemouth in this second half. As I said, at one point in this second half, it's looked more like that Bournemouth would get a second rather than City trying to find a leveller to begin with, never mind trying to win the game. Lots can still change. Rodri with a cutback. Nothing in there. I don't know what's going on at Stamford Bridge, but they're appealing something, Chelsea. So they want something. For the moment, we'll keep an eye on that game and await what comes. Jerky! We'll get the deflection on the shot. Will be a corner. Cherky wasting no time to come over to take the corner. City don't have time to waste, really. Cherky Delivers it into the box, headed down, not cleared away by Bournemouth, hitting their own players and trying to clear it. Stayed alive by O'Reilly, but then it drops for Tavernier, who can help in carrying it away for Bournemouth. Evan Nielsen chesting it down in the middle of the pitch. All the space and time he would have wanted there, just to comfortably control it. Well, whatever they were looking for there at Stamford Bridge, it wasn't given, and it will be half time. So it is 1-0 to Chelsea at the break as Bournemouth win themselves a corner down the left. Adrian Trufair doing it again. Andoni Iraiola's side. I mean, what an incredible place he has put this team in. What an incredible place he will leave this football club in the summer in. What a position. European football at their grasp. And seemingly going unbeaten. Ball delivered in. Little high. That's going to drop for a goal kick anyway. Dangerous delivery though. City going to make some more changes. Going to see Omar Marmoush come onto the field of play here. And Justin Kluivert's going to be coming on for Bournemouth. And I think Eli Junior Krupi's coming off. Well, his goal, that is the difference. Absolutely beautiful finish in that first half. Gorgeous from Eli Junior Krupi. Absolutely gorgeous. And Kluivert on for the goal scorer. Kluivert, he's got that in his locker as well, as Omar Marmoush is on for City. And I believe he has replaced Jeremy Doku. I believe. He has. So Doku off for Marmoush. One final last 15 minutes of a push from City. If they're to win it, they have to find an equaliser, and fast. Ryan Cherky to take this corner, left hand side. Swung to the back post, headed clear. Not fully clear as Ryan did get clean contact, but Mateus Nunes recycles. Cherky wide left, looking for a crossing situation. Clips it into the area, headed away. Bournemouth again who got first contact, but maybe not a necessary header. Savinho swings across. Away by Senesi, kept alive by Rodri. Cleared away by Scott. Ping pong in the Bournemouth box. Ball played out to the right hand side here for City then. Cherky, who's gone out to that right side, but no way through that time, and heavy ball back to Mateus Nunes. Have to throw everything at this now, City. Cherky driving into down the right side, flips it across. Diving header away by Senesi. City again retrieve the possession from the Bournemouth clearance. Rodri rolls it across to Gahey, who gets involved in the attacking phase. Wide to Savinho, who's gone to the left. Savinho swings it in again, and header by Marmoush. Oh, it's slipped by the keeper, and then he's got it the second time round. Jorge Petrovic. Great ball in by Savinho. Come off the head of O'Reilly, then bounced off James Hill. And then as Jorge Petrovic reaches for it, it slipped out of his hands and then reached backwards just before O'Reilly could react to get the catch on the ball the second time. But that could have been much more dangerous. Guy's header, O'Reilly's lob forward, and the push in the back of Savinho by Adam Smith is going to give City a free kick. Now look at the face of Pep Guardiola. Right now, it is not a happy face. Nunes down the right side. Blocked by Hill, that cross. True Fair looking to clear it up the field. Oh, it broke in behind. The legs of Mateus Nunes brought in to the path of Evan Nielsen, who switches across to the right now for Ryan. Gives it back to Alex Scott. Adams. Right to the left to True Fair. To Tavernier, and Bournemouth happy to just keep the ball for the minute. Pop it around. Couple of passes here and there. No major rush from the home side. Game management will be the key phrase for the final 10 minutes. As I said, they've only beaten Manchester City once before in the Premier League. That was at the Vitality Stadium back in November 2024. Antoine Semenyo scored for Bournemouth in that game, as did Evan Nielsen. And a late Joško Vardiol goal tried to rescue something for City, but in the end it was too little too late. But even at this rate, City could still draw this game and the title be done. They have to win, which seems, a miracle at this stage. But it's not impossible. Hill to True Fair. Looking for options as he has to turn back to Senesi. Angles one round the corner, looking for the run of Justin Kluiverts. Kushanov trying to hold him off, and Kushanov does really well. 1v1. As it stands, Arsenal are on the verge of being crowned champions of the Premier League for the first time in 22 years. At the moment, City could deny them that, but they have to score 2 goals and win this game. As Rodri's going to be penalised for a foul on Ryan. That's going to be a free kick. Well, as you can see at the top left of your screen, the last time a title race was this close, well, forget about that. The last time that City lost the title in this sort of scenario was when Liverpool won the title, when City went to Chelsea and lost, and that crowned Liverpool champions in a midweek game. Well, it looks like history might repeat itself for Arsenal. They've done their job the day before, and City head away from home and seemingly lose to confirm the title. But this in a much narrower, much tighter and tense circumstances. Well, the Arsenal fans, the Arsenal players really were asked before last night after their win against Burnley, will you be watching this game? They were a little coy to answer, but there's no doubt they'll be somewhere and they will be watching. And right now, they will be getting themselves ready to celebrate as it stands. It's not over yet, but City need to find 2 goals from somewhere. As Bournemouth make another change here, we're going to see David Brooks come on to replace Ryan. So David Brooks on for Ryan. Just over 6 minutes of normal time to go. Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 0. Phil Foden to swing in this free kick, and the header by Rodri is way off target goal kick. You just kind of feel that it's not going to be City's night. The way it's looked tonight, despite their threat and moments, there's no been real clear-cut danger. You know, I can't pinpoint a moment where I go, oh, Petrovic made a massive save there, or he denied City a big chance or a goal there. I don't really remember City creating that gilt-edged, clear-cut opportunity to say they should be winning this game. Or at least should be level in this game. Well, it's getting off scene. Very famous. I can never tell them apart if it's Noel or Liam. Either way, it's one of the Gallagher brothers. They disappearing in the away end. I think he's had enough, but he can't look back in anger. I'm not going to do that. No. I'd hate myself if I do that. Right. A quick update from Stamford Bridge. Of course, it's still half-time. Chelsea against Spurs. Chelsea leading by a goal to 0 at the break. Enzo Fernandez with that goal has Chelsea in front at half-time. Remember, that's important at the bottom of the table, because as it stands, with Spurs losing, it would mean that the relegation battle would go to the final day of the season, meaning West Ham would have to win on Sunday, and Spurs would have to lose to keep West Ham in the division. Any other result would relegate West Ham on Sunday afternoon. Free kick here to Bournemouth. Kluivert brought down by Phil Foden. And a free kick to Bournemouth, and the clock continues to tick closer to 90. An edge ever closer to Arsenal being crowned champions of the Premier League. Kushanov. Well, what could have been a pretty incredible end to Pep Guardiola's career at Manchester City if they'd have won tonight and then took it to the final day, and who knows what could have happened at that point. But Haaland's here trying to create something. That's going to be cut away, but what looks like it might end in a bit of a disappointment, relative disappointment. They've just done a domestic cup double, but you know what I mean. You get my drift. You catch my drift. Andy says, if anybody can stop PSG playing, the Gunners can. Well, that's a fair point. And we'll talk about that when it comes to it in the Champions League final in 11 days' time. Scott with the long kick forward there. David Brooks will take it and usher it out for the throw. Down the right-hand side. Paul says, could Hotspur still be relegated? Spurs can still be relegated as it stands. With Spurs losing, if they lose against Everton as well as Chelsea on the final day, and West Ham win against Leeds, then Spurs would be relegated. So there is a scenario where Spurs can still find themselves in the Championship. Here's a chance for Bournemouth! David Brooks, gilt-edged chance in front of Donnarumma, and he just kind of guides it into the hands of the City goalkeeper. Well, he does well to win it back, Brooks. Bournemouth do want to end on a high. Evan Nielsen! Just wide. Well, I have to say, it's looked all night like Bournemouth have been the team that are chasing Arsenal down for the title. They have been absolutely excellent tonight. Really, really excellent. And this chance from Brooks, denied by Donnarumma, and then this from Evan Nielsen from the edge. Just directed wide, but beautiful. Bournemouth going to make some more changes. Enes Unal and Lewis Cook are going to be coming on. They're going to replace Evan Nielsen and Adam Smith for Bournemouth. So we enter the final minute of the 90. And Arsenal haven't been this close in 2 decades. Have never got this close in so many years. And they are on the verge. Oh, here we go again. Bournemouth are in behind. It's David Brooks! Oh, he's hit the post! How many chances is David Brooks going to get? Cook. Brooks slips over the ball. Well, he's missed 2 massive goal-mouth chances to double Bournemouth's lead. So we head into the 90 minutes. 6 added. City come out the other end. Savinho wins the corner off Lewis Cook. David Brooks, beautiful ball. Enes Unal working himself into space, and David Brooks completely unmarked. Everybody ball watching from City, and he's away, and he just spins it round Donnarumma and crashes it off the right post. Even the City fans are shocked that didn't go in. Glum faces on the City bench. None more so than Pep Guardiola. They believed coming into tonight that they still had a chance, and they did still have a chance. And on the night, they just haven't been able to step to the mark, City. The Bournemouth fans are incredibly jubilant, no doubt. This would be one hell of a way to end the season at home. To confirm Arsenal as champions, to deny City as title holders, but even more importantly for Bournemouth, to once again get one step closer to European football for the first time in this club's history. Remember last season, they were leading the charge for the best of the rest, and then they hit that poor run really late in the season, and it catapulted, destroyed their chances of getting into Europe. Finishing 8th as Kluivert gets a little bit heated against Rodri, and it's all kicking off now. The referee's got the yellow card out, so Rodri and Kluivert, I would suspect, will get bookings for, I don't know what that was all over. Whether it was Rodri maybe just standing over Kluivert while he was down, but goodness me. Something out of nothing. 4 minutes of the 6 added to go. Excuse me. They're back underway at Stamford Bridge. Still Chelsea 1, Spurs 0 in that game. While we're live, we'll update you if anything changes in that one. We'll put the live table back up for you. We'll have some nice little graphics to show the Arsenal fans if it stays as it is. There's going to be a free kick here to City, right on the edge of the box. Rodri went down, but inside the area, but referee Anthony Taylor has seen it as a foul outside, so which VAR will have a look if anything needs to be rectified. But Jared Gillett will keep a very close eye. We'll see this again. Yeah, I think Rodri was fouled outside the box and then rolled inside the area. Yeah, Kluivert just battling with him. It's a foul, but it's a free kick. It's a free kick. An opportunity here for City to snatch a leveller. Kluivert given a yellow card. It has to be now or never for City. They have to score this and then have to go all out to try and score another one. It's improbable, to say the very least. I think Pep Guardiola's lost all belief. I don't think he's going to hang out hope. Stranger things have happened. That's all I'll say. Marmoush hits the wall. Foden kicks it. Cherky runs into trouble. And that's really summed up the night for City. And now come Bournemouth on the breakaway. Kluivert's closed down well. Last 2 minutes of the 96. 2 minutes from the defining moment of the season. Two minutes from what would be an incredible night for the red side of North London. Oh, chance here for City at the post. Haaland finds the back of the nets. Well, Erling Haaland has fired it in, and Manchester City have a leveller. With 90 seconds left on the clock, Erling Haaland has given City a levelling goal. They surely couldn't, could they? They surely couldn't. There's no way. There's no way. Well, it's poor from Bournemouth. They don't clear the lines well enough. Rodri hits the post, then it rebounds. Haaland the first to react and absolutely smashes it in. That's a fabulous finish. As Guardiola celebrates and looks straight to the clock. Is there time to win? Well, you never know. You never know. Well, they've got to go and do it now. They will get a free kick here, City. So, quick update to the table. They're still 4 points off Arsenal. As it stands, Arsenal will still be champions. No doubt about that. But if City score a late winner, then this title race is going to the final day. But I'm not getting ahead of myself. It's 1-1. City with a free kick. Last chance saloon, really. Kept alive in the area. It will drop. It's cleared away by Tavernier. Oh, Nunes in a difficult position here. Just about wins the challenge. Touched by Marmoush. 2 touches. Savinho gets away from his man. He's charging in at the goal here. Savinho cuts it across into the mix. Just cleared away by Bournemouth. They're scrambling to get it away from danger. And now they might have an attacking chance of their own here. They run out. Poor ball. 6 minutes is up. Is there time? There's not. It's all over. Arsenal are the champions. Manchester City left it to the death to try and make a contest of it. But Bournemouth hung on, and City left it too little too late to try and undo the damage that was done in the first half. Confirmation. Arsenal are Premier League champions for the first time in 22 years. They've done it. Mikel Arteta's done it. And Manchester City held to a draw in the end. And the moment those Arsenal fans have been waiting for over 2 decades, some of them for their whole lives, to see this moment, to witness this moment, to live this moment. Arsenal are the kings of the land and the Premier League champions for the 4th time in the Premier League era and for the 14th time in the club's history. They're the champions of England, and for the first time in 22 years. Mikel Arteta started the journey 6 years ago saying that he would be a Premier League champion with Arsenal. When many have doubted him over the last number of years, it wasn't the first time, it wasn't the second time, it wasn't the third time. It's the 4th time of asking for Arsenal. And they have held off City, they've held off Liverpool, they've held off everyone to win the title. And they are champions of the Premier League. Incredible. Absolutely incredible for Arsenal. A fan base that have had many dark days over the last decade or two. Many days where they dreamed that they could be back there. And now they are finally back at the top. And let's just show you visually what it looks like. Arsenal are the champions. They are, for the first time in 22 years, in gold. And look at that. 82 points was enough to get it over the line this season. Manchester City drawing in the end at Bournemouth, and that secures City as second place. There's the correct one of it, and there you go. 4 points clear of City, which confirms mathematically Arsenal are the champions. Disappointment certainly for City, who fought Arsenal all the way, and even when Arsenal were running away with it, were points and points clear, City still hung on to the hope that they could catch them. And until this game, that was very much a possibility, and maybe that game away at Everton was the undoing of them. We kind of felt that was the night that maybe City had given Arsenal the upper hand that they kind of needed to take on and move on. And albeit some may have criticised Arsenal yesterday, we've seen some of that today. Oh, it's only a 1-0 win. Well, it's a win nonetheless, and it's one better than City could do tonight. And on the night, Arsenal confirmed Premier League champions for the 14th time in their history, and for the 4th time in the Premier League era, and for the first time since 2004. To put that into context, I wasn't alive the last time Arsenal won the title. So, look at that. Well, there you go. The Premier League ribbons will continue to be red, but a different shade of red, and a different team name on the trophy. As scenes from outside at the Emirates Stadium, and those scenes will continue long, long, long into the night and to the rest of the season, and will continue to South London on Sunday, where Crystal Palace and Arsenal will face off, and that is where Arsenal will, for the first time in 22 years, lift the Premier League trophy on Sunday, and you can watch that with us live here on LFS on Sunday. 3:45 for the final day, kick-offs at 4 o'clock, and Arsenal's title lift will be around about just after 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. Incredible. What a season it's been. I mean, Arsenal have been by far the best team in the league, there's no doubt about that, but we were just maybe clinging on to the little fantasy, the little romanticising that City could maybe snatch it, could maybe take it to the final day. Well, I think this really on the night is deserving of the season. I think Bournemouth, got to give a lot of credit to Bournemouth. They were absolutely excellent on the night. Probably should have deserved to win the game. A late Erling Haaland goal that made it a little bit more entertaining than it really needed to be in the end. But what an incredible season Bournemouth have had, and this is their final home game of the season. Wonderful job Antonio Iraola's done, and they have themselves equalled the Premier League record for the most draws in a single season and the most home draws in a single season. So there you go, another little feathers in the cap of Bournemouth. But they are on their way to Europe, it seems. 56 points, 3 clear of Brighton going into the final day, 3 away from Liverpool going into the final day. They have 6th in their grasp, and if they can hang on away at Forest at the weekend, they will be heading to Europe. And who knows, if Liverpool win and City win at the weekends, Bournemouth might just get Champions League football, and they will be Villa fans tomorrow, hoping they can win the Europa League and open up all those possibilities for Bournemouth. But forget about all that right now. The key story, the important story, the big story of the Premier League season is that Arsenal are confirmed Premier League champions after City's 1-1 draw with Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. Erling Haaland's 95th minute goal made it a little bit interesting, but it was too late for Manchester City, and the Gunners finally are back on top, and finally, once again, Premier League champions. And I mean, if there's ever a trophy to put an end to a drought, I mean, Mikel Arteta in his first season won the FA Cup with Arsenal, and it's taken them 6 years to get another major trophy. And I mean, there's no better one than the Premier League, and they might go even one better than that. They might do a unique little double if they can win the Champions League final in a few weeks' time, and that will be certainly silencing any remaining doubters that Mikel Arteta is not good enough, because they are Premier League champions And there's a Champions League final on the horizon for Arsenal as well. Right, another quick look at the table. It is 22 years in waiting, but there it is, Arsenal in gold, and they are the Premier League champions. 4 points clear of City with just one game left to play. And finally, after 37 long weeks and a very long season, all that hard work has paid off, and Arsenal are the champions. Right, so that is the way it is finished at the Vitality Stadium. It is still playing. They are still playing between Chelsea and Spurs at the moment at the Bridge. Still 1-0 to Chelsea in that game, and as it stands, the relegation battle will go down to the final day. We will, of course, keep you updated on that for the moment. We will show you the live table to show you what is currently the situation there. Spurs on 38 points, West Ham on 36. If that stays as it is, the final day, there is a scenario where Spurs and West Ham could swap places if Spurs lose to Everton and West Ham beat Leeds on the final day. As long as Spurs continue to lose away at Chelsea, then it is all to play for. But anything other than that, and West Ham will be effectively relegated. So it is not only the north side of London that is celebrating tonight, certainly one half of north side of London, the red side, but certainly West Ham United in East London will be watching intently on that game at the Bridge to hope that Chelsea can continue to beat Spurs and take it to the final day. You never know. But Arsenal have put it out on socials. They are there. They have settled it. And they've said, the Arsenal, your Premier League champions, is the caption. And the Arsenal are Premier League champions. Thank you very much for your company tonight. Confirmation that Arsenal are the champions and that Manchester City can no longer catch them. But if you want to watch how the season concludes in all 10 games, all 20 teams, for one more round of fixtures this weekend, this Sunday, 3:45 we're live, 4 o'clock kickoffs, and now we know Arsenal will get the title, Arsenal will get the Premier League trophy, and they will be lifting said trophy shortly after 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. Thanks for your company tonight, and we will see you for the final day on Sunday. Good night.